Kamene's weight loss journey kicked off with more enthusiasm than a politician at a campaign rally, her resolutions set higher than Nairobi's skyscrapers. Yet, as the days passed, her aspirations met the same fate as most New Year's promises, abandoned faster than last season's fashion trends in the face of the first January sale. Her foray into the keto diet was akin to stepping into dietary Narnia, a magical realm where bread was banned, and the mere mention of sugar could get you exiled. Night after night, Kamene found herself in a Shakespearean tragedy, tormented by visions of chapatis dancing tantalizingly just out of reach, and pizzas whispering sweet nothings from the shadows. These nocturnal carb capers left her in a state of unrest, her mornings haunted by the ghostly aroma of toast that never was. This keto crusade turned her kitchen into a scene straight out of a culinary horror movie, where once beloved pasta lay covered in cobwebs, and rice grains were spoken of in hushed tones, as if fearing their very names might conjure them back into existence. Fat, once the villain of her dietary tale, was now cast in the role of dubious hero, a greasy knight in shining armor come to rescue her from the clutches of her carb-filled past. Yet, for all its promise of transformation, the keto diet proved to be a harsh mistress. Kamene's relationship with her fridge became fraught with tension, each opening a reminder of the forbidden fruits and grains that lay beyond her reach. Dining out became a game of culinary Russian roulette, each menu a minefield of carb-laden temptations, her orders a list of substitutions that tested the patience of even the most saintly of waiters. In the theater of Kamene's dietary struggles, the keto diet was but the opening act, setting the stage for a saga filled with twists, turns, and the occasional dramatic collapse into a plate of contraband cookies. It was a performance worthy of a standing ovation, or at the very least, a sympathetic pat on the back, as Kamene soldiered on, her dreams of chapati rendezvous undimmed by the cold light of day. Next on her list was intermittent fasting, a diet that played hard to get with its eating schedules. Kamene found herself watching the clock more than a stockbroker watches the market, her whole day revolving around the sacred eating windows. These periods of nourishment were as fleeting and rare as a well-timed British train, leaving her to fantasize about her next meal while staring longingly at a ticking clock. The concept of fasting took on a whole new meaning, becoming less about health and more about a test of willpower and the limits of human patience. Not one to be easily deterred, Kamene then ventured into the realm of juice cleanses, a period that saw her blender working overtime and her toilet becoming her new best friend. The promise was detoxification and rejuvenation, but all she felt was hunger and a newfound suspicion of anything liquid that wasn't tea or coffee. Her kitchen resembled a science lab, with concoctions and mixtures that promised vitality but tasted like lawn clippings. With each new diet, Kamene's hopes soared, only to be brought back down to earth with the gentle thud of reality. The promises of transformation were as convincing as a politician's pre-election vows, and just as quickly broken. Her scale became her frenemy, offering brief moments of joy followed by the crushing reality of rebound weight gain. In this colorful journey, Kamene had tasted every flavor of dietary disappointment. She became a connoisseur of calorie counting and a scholar of nutritional labels, her dedication unwavering even in the face of culinary temptation. Yet, despite the roller coaster of dieting adventures, her spirit remained unbroken, a testament to her resilience and perhaps a stubborn refusal to give up on the dream of reclaiming her waistline from the clutches of her 40s. On that fateful day in Argos, Kamene was simply another shopper navigating the labyrinth of consumer goods, her mission as straightforward as it was profound: to toast or not to toast. Little did she know, she was about to become the protagonist in a comedy of errors that would rival any primetime laugh fest. As Kamene pondered the existential toaster question, weighing the pros and cons of crispy versus soft bread in a philosophical debate worthy of Socrates himself, fate, decked out in its finest prankster hat, decided it was showtime. Enter stage right, two ladies whose keen interest in Kamene's midsection was about to catapult her into an impromptu role she hadn't auditioned for. Their inquiry into her pregnancy was so unexpected, it might as well have been an alien asking for directions to the nearest galaxy. Kamene, momentarily stunned into silence, quickly calculated her options. She could correct their mistake, revealing the truth behind her not-so-baby bump, or she could embrace the farce, stepping into the spotlight of mistaken maternity with the gusto of a leading lady on opening night. Choosing the path of least resistance and maximum amusement, Kamene declared herself 7 months pregnant with the conviction of an actress vying for an Oscar. Her response was so convincing, even she almost believed it for a moment. The ladies, their faces lighting up like Christmas trees in December, immediately sprang into action, championing her cause like medieval knights sworn to protect the realm of expectant mothers. The queue, once a snake of impatient consumers, transformed into a procession of well-wishers, each person stepping aside with a mix of reverence and urgency, as if Kamene were carrying the heir to the throne rather than the results of her culinary indulgences. She was whisked to the front with the speed of a VIP escorted by a personal security detail, leaving behind a trail of smiles and murmured congratulations. Kamene, now the unexpected queen of the Argos line, couldn't help but marvel at the turn of events. What started as a mundane shopping trip had morphed into a live comedy sketch, with her as the unwitting star. The toaster, the innocent catalyst of this entire escapade, sat in her basket, an unassuming prop in a scene that would become legend among her friends and family. As she made her purchase and exited stage left, Kamene couldn't suppress a giggle, the absurdity of the situation washing over her like the applause at the end of a hit show. This was a story for the ages, a tale of mistaken identity, impromptu performance art, and the human capacity for kindness and humor in the most unexpected places. And as for the toaster? It would forever hold a place of honor in her kitchen, a trophy from the day she became an accidental celebrity in the Argos queue. The transformation in the queue was instantaneous. What was once a line of strangers united only by their shared weight became a congregation of well-wishers, all eager to assist the pregnant lady in their midst. With the kind of efficiency and cooperation rarely seen outside of orchestrated flash mobs, Kamene was propelled to the front of the queue, her path cleared with the respect and urgency typically accorded to a VIP. It was a procession of sorts, with Kamene at the helm, parting the sea of shoppers with her fabricated maternal glow. This unexpected elevation to queue royalty was a revelation for Kamene. As she was gently ushered ahead, bypassing the line with a mix of gratitude and a twinge of guilt, she couldn't help but marvel at the kindness of strangers, mobilized by the mistaken belief in her impending motherhood. The toaster, now a forgotten participant in this absurd drama, was purchased amid smiles and congratulatory whispers, its mundane existence elevated by its association with the day's events. But as Kamene exited Argos, cradling her purchase like a trophy won in the most unconventional of contests, she couldn't shake the feeling that the universe had just handed her a sign. The mistaken identity, the belly mistaken for a baby bump, was her comedic wake-up call, a humorous nudge towards a path she had long considered but never fully embraced. From that day forward, Kamene was on a mission, armed with the memory of her accidental deception and a newfound determination to transform her life. The Argos incident, a chapter she would recount with laughter in years to come, was the catalyst for a journey that would lead her to the diet, a turning point marked not by the weight she carried but by the lightness of being she sought. Kamene's adventure in Argos, now a legendary tale in her personal annals, was the slapstick slap she needed to kickstart her transformation. With the kind of determination usually reserved for finding a Wi-Fi signal in remote areas, she plunged headfirst into the dieting deep end once more. Only this time, her inspiration wasn't drawn from the glossy pages of Western wellness magazines but from the rugged plains of the Masai Mara, home to Kenya's iconic Maasai warriors and their less discussed, yet equally formidable, diet. The diet, as Kamene soon discovered, wasn't for the faint of heart or the devoted carb lovers. It was a regimen so stark, so devoid of frills, it made her previous attempts at dieting look like lavish feasts fit for a king. The Maasai's diet, a robust blend of meat, milk, and blood, the latter Kamene decided to skip, fearing her friends might start questioning more than just her dietary choices, was about as minimalist as a bachelor's apartment. Yet, it promised results that no amount of kale smoothies could ever hope to achieve. Embracing this new culinary philosophy, Kamene found herself on a diet that could best be described as what you see is what you get. There were no hidden sugars, no sneaky carbs lurking in the shadows, just straightforward, unapologetic sustenance. Navigating this dietary shift wasn't without its comedic moments. Kamene's kitchen, once a haven for quick fixes and microwavable miracles, transformed into a scene straight out of a survivalist show. Her attempts at preparing traditional Maasai fare with the ingredients available in the UK led to culinary experiments that would have made even the most adventurous Maasai warrior raise an eyebrow. Her local butcher, previously accustomed to her modest orders, now watched in bemusement as she enthusiastically inquired about the leanest cuts of meat, his curiosity piqued by her sudden shift from casual shopper to protein purist. The transition was as challenging as it was humorous. Kamene's social media updates, once filled with the latest restaurant finds and dessert decadences, now showcased her Spartan meals with captions that oscillated between pride and desperation. Her friends, initially skeptical, soon found themselves drawn into the saga, their comments ranging from supportive to outright hilarious, as they debated whether Kamene's next invite would involve a traditional Maasai feast or if salad leaves would make a covert comeback. In 3 months, Kamene's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. The scale, once her nemesis, now greeted her with numbers that sparked joy rather than despair. Her journey, punctuated with laughter, learning, and a fair share of meat, had led her to a place of health and happiness. The Ma diet, with its roots stretching back to the plains of Kenya, had guided her back to her own roots, proving that sometimes, the best way forward is to look back, at your culture, at your heritage, and maybe, just maybe, at the dietary habits of warriors. Kamene's dive into the Ma diet was akin to swapping her cozy, predictable sedan for a high-speed motorcycle, sans helmet. Out went the comforting crinkle of biscuit wrappers, replaced by the solemn rustle of leafy greens and the stoic silence of raw meat. Her pantry, once a treasure trove of quick fixes and sugary delights, now looked as if it had been raided by a band of health-conscious Maasai warriors, with nary a carb in sight. Her culinary routine underwent a transformation so radical it could have been the plot of a daytime TV makeover show. Each meal was an ode to simplicity and endurance, much like the Maasai themselves. Kamene, embracing this new chapter with the zeal of a convert, found herself explaining to her bemused British friends that no, she wasn't joining a cult, just revisiting her roots via her dinner plate. The meat and milk regimen was straightforward, a no-nonsense approach to nutrition that left little room for interpretation, much like a matatu conductor's barked instructions to move faster. There's space. However, when it came to the traditional blood component, Kamene drew the line, substituting it with lemon juice in a compromise that would make a diplomat proud. This beverage swap, while less authentic, certainly made for easier conversation at dinner parties, sparing her the task of explaining the finer points of blood consumption to the uninitiated. Her transformation wasn't just physical, it was a cultural reawakening, a culinary journey back to her roots that was met with curiosity, admiration, and a fair share of raised eyebrows. Friends who visited were treated to tales of Maasai warriors in the savannah as they cautiously navigated Kamene's new menu, their expressions a mix of intrigue and mild panic at the sight of so much unadorned protein. Dinner at Kamene's became an adventure, a gustatory safari that offered a taste of the Maasai Mara without the need for mosquito repellent or travel insurance. Her guests, initially wary, soon found themselves drawn into the narrative, their palates reluctantly expanding under Kamene's enthusiastic guidance. The occasional longing glance at the bread basket was met with gentle reminders of the warrior spirit, encouragement to embrace the bold flavors of the plains. Kamene's embrace of the Ma diet, while challenging, was a testament to the power of dietary determination and the unexpected joys of reconnecting with one's heritage, one meal at a time. It was a journey marked by laughter, a few culinary missteps, and the occasional longing for a biscuit. Yet, through it all, Kamene remained steadfast, her sights set on a horizon where health and heritage met, proving that sometimes, the path to wellness is paved with more than just good intentions, it's lined with the echoes of ancestral footsteps and the occasional lemon wedge. Kamene's transformation, under the strict tutelage of the Ma diet, was so dramatic it could have been sponsored by a fairy godmother with a penchant for nutrition. Within 3 months, she managed to shed kilos with the enthusiasm of a politician shedding promises after an election.